Hey, how's your journey been going lately? Have you been feeling this intense momentum since January? Kind of a feeling of like gripping onto the steering wheel and going along with the ride as much as you possibly can? Maybe even feeling like a tornado spinning in the direction that you're trying to go in? You're not alone. This has been a wild start to 2024, and I'm going to tell you a little bit why you've been potentially feeling like that and how this solar eclipse in Aries has the potential to create a big change. First of all, why this is happening. Then we'll get into some of the energy around this solar eclipse, and then how to manage your energy amidst some of the chaos that might be going on. Do check your sun, moon, and rising for a better understanding of how this is showing up in your life. But first, here's what's been going on. We have been riding this period between the calendar new year and the astrological new year. As that stands on its own, that is a beginning of the calendar new year. But in astrology, we're still wrapping up some really big stuff before the astrology new year, which is happening right now. Having an ending and a beginning is like going in two different directions at the same time. And that can be that spinning tornado heading towards the destination. On top of those two energies going in different directions, the same direction, but still a mixed bag of energy. It's going direct since January. And that's a lot of momentum. As much as we don't love to hear about retrograde energy when it slows us down, this momentum is great, but it really has this feeling of spinning or propelling, moving too quickly. But here we are now with a fated solar eclipse in Aries, which is brand new beginnings, big fated energy coming into our lives. And in some ways, I think the intensity of January until now has been giving us the tools to move up to the next level that we're about to begin. This solar eclipse is happening April 8th. Here in the Pacific Coast, it is a Monday, and this is happening at 19 degrees Aries. It is exact on Chiron. Chiron is our wounded healer. So at this time, it could go a couple of ways. This could snap us out of an old wound, or it can activate one with the intention of clearing out the energy and moving through something that has been living deep inside of our souls for potentially many lifetimes. When events come along that activate a wound, it is for the intention of releasing. This is also on a Libra degree. At 19 degrees, this is Venus energy. This could have to do with relationships. Again, Aries and Libra axis is all about relationship balance of self and other, being able to hold our own energy and make room for another person and another person's experience too, and find that beautiful middle ground. I want to give a little example to help understand what a Chiron wound is all about. Chiron is a wound that we hold inside that others don't necessarily see in us, but it's something that we are aware of and exists with us throughout our life. It's a wound that we learn how to nurture in this lifetime, and as a result of the lessons that we go through because we care so deeply about healing that wound within ourselves, we can then be a teacher to others with the same wound. And this is such a lovely energy of, someone once said to me, we're all here just walking each other home. And it didn't get it at the time, but that's how I view Chiron, is that it's this tool to really connect with other people on a level of empathy and create healing at a communal and global level. And somebody that I think is a beautiful example of this is Vinh Giang. I will leave a link below for those of you who don't know him. But Vinh is a communication expert. He is the most captivating, easy to listen to person I have ever had the pleasure of listening to. He can create a polished presentation like a comedian, and he is passionate and heartfelt, the level that actors are capable of. Vinh developed this skill because he learned the English language at the age of 8 after immigrating to Australia, and was bullied and made fun of his whole childhood because he spoke differently than everybody else. He felt isolated, neglected, and that's one of the most painful human experiences to go through. We need connection. And the thing that connects us is communication. So what did he do? He went and learned everything he could about communication, and now he teaches millions and millions of people his art, and he is dedicated to perfecting it as much as possible and continuing to share this with everybody. This is what the Chiron wound looks like. It's Vinh Giang. Check him out. Love him to pieces. Now back to our eclipse forecast. So that's what you can expect with Chiron involved in this eclipse, that something might initially be painful. Ultimately, it creates expertise. Now, there's an energy that can slow things down, confuse things, create mix-ups. Mercury retrograde. Mercury is our planet of communication, technology, mental activity. During this time, because it's in Aries, communication could be blunt, confusing, inspiring, optimistic, explosive. There's potential for big initiation and also mix-ups and confusion. Saturn is connecting with Mars right now, which is another energy that is potentially difficult. It has the potential to either sever something that has been difficult and it bursts and it's gone, or it's, again, an activation of something challenging that is going to help us in this expertise of relationship and communication development that we're working on. I think this Saturn-Mars connection also has the potential to balance out the Mercury retrograde in Aries, in that it's going to harness our emotions and it's going to dampen some of the fire that can come out with our communication. This is a reserved energy. This is maybe severing that part of us that has the ability to be reserved. I hope this energy shows up for you as healthy restraint in effectively communicating what you really need. Those moments where we get triggered emotionally, and for me, it feels like electricity and fireworks and television static boiling up inside my nervous system. And it's so physiological that it's been a long journey of learning how to hold that and listen to what's happening inside my body and then create a conscious action that's appropriate. It's the same energy that when we're in that space, everything can feel urgent and explosive, and the need to get things out right away and just get this energy out of my body. It can be uncomfortable, but it's such an important tool in understanding what's going on inside of us and how this current situation is making us feel. And we're building up to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction April 20th. This conjunction has the potential for unexpected healing. So whatever happens at the time of this eclipse on April 8th, do know that this energy of April 20th is promising some very lovely blessings, potentially in unexpected, jarring ways, but I do feel like it's the light at the end of the tunnel for whatever is going on in your life right now. So if you are feeling like that tornado on a path and you're hanging on by a thread with this intensity that is propelling us forward right now, First of all, I just want to send out all my love and compassion and know that this next phase is an opportunity for some really big shifts. And this Mercury retrograde, at the very least, could give us a sense of slowing down. Thank you, everybody who is liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the notification bell. It is such a pleasure to be able to chat about astrology with you. Thank you. And let's do the sign by sign. Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is all about self-empowerment in your career, your visibility in the world, your reputation. This energy can bring a faded new status at work. And you're feeling brave about being seen. And if you're not, whatever's showing up right now are the exact conditions that you need to step into that brave leadership position. A harsh teacher could be a part of this story. It could be a difficult teacher that is pushing you and challenging you in your belief systems and really makes you step into authority in who you are, and authority that can handle resistance in a Cancerian Aries way. Now, those are both very different energies. Cancer, you are typically somebody who leads with nurturing, empathy, sensitivity, intuition. But that isn't always what gets the job done. So sometimes we need to harness our inner Aries, this ram-like force that is not shaken by other people's opinions. The Mars-Saturn connection in your ninth house could mean you are finishing up formal education of some kind, or there's some restructuring that's going on in your education with teachers, with your perspectives on the world. And this is part of what's creating the shift for you when it comes to how you're seen and what your public image looks like. If you have wounds about being seen, maybe even in partnerships, because there's so much partnership, Libra, Venus energy being activated, then you're feeling more comfortable showing the softer inner parts of yourself because you're incorporating it with a more rigid, self-assured way of presenting. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, when they come together on April 20th, this is blessings in your community and your audience. So whatever is going on April 8th at the time of this eclipse, give or take a month, for some people, but most of 80% will experience it on the day of. Then April 20th, this Jupiter-Uranus is unexpected blessings when it comes to your audience and your networks. Maybe there's a huge expansion of who's watching you, who's supporting you, who's there in your back corner, because they are seeing this change in you. They're seeing this dynamic rule between being an assertive leader and being a gentle, nurturing, compassionate person at the very same time. What an amazing skill to develop. This could change your status in the world. So maybe some of you are getting a promotion, maybe you're getting married, maybe some other type of role that you're stepping into, and you have the strength to do it. And if you don't, you're going to have the exact circumstances in life to step into that strength and that power. And I really love this for Cancer because blending the two and being seen and being strong and still holding that sensitive space is incredible. What a duality to hold. So good for you, Cancer, whatever you're going through. I hope that this faded energy brings lots of blessings and changes that you've been looking forward to. I'll see you next time. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You are ready for new beliefs and new mindset. You have been restructuring your deep psychological wounds, and this is giving you a whole new status potentially come April 20th. This solar eclipse is happening in your ninth house, and that's where your beliefs about the world are represented. This is where teachers can come into your life. You could become a teacher to others. And maybe in partnerships, there's a lot of energy for you when it comes to intimacy, other people's resources. Perhaps there's a resource that's being cut right now, something that you have been getting from another person or support that is no longer part of your path moving forward. And that somehow is a piece of the story of what's changing your perspectives on things. This blessing in career or public image, what comes to April 20th and the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, this is unexpected. So something unexpected in your status could change. And if something in your status and reputation is transforming, this is an energy that is blessed and unexpected and very healing. Now back to the solar eclipse in your 9th house. This could have to do with how you hold space for your own perspectives and other people's belief systems. That's a roadmap to true intimacy. When two people can have contrasting beliefs, don't necessarily line up, but you hold space for that other person with compassion and understanding, as well as being really strong in your own convictions. It might be challenging to convey exactly what your perspectives and beliefs are at this time because of Mercury retrograde, and it's in the same part of your chart. So the communication and even your mental ability to sort it all out and make sense in your head might feel like a struggle. But the point of that struggle is so that you put energy into really figuring it all out. When there's a struggle somewhere, that's where we put our energy and focus to. We're driven as humans to sort out a struggle. We ultimately want ease and no struggles as humans. We're just designed that way. So when they surface, we put everything we can into sorting that out and making things feel smooth again. So take the time here. Take the time to figure out what you really truly believe in and how that matches or doesn't match with another person's belief systems, and ultimately how there's room for both. If you're typically really assertive about your belief systems, as some Leos can be, then this could be an energy where you're softening that. And with Aries ruling this part of your chart, when Aries is in its dominant, pushy, aggressive manifestation rather than pleasantly assertive, it's often because it doesn't feel as solid in itself. So when you feel really solid in who you are, then other people's opinions are less likely to instigate this feeling where you want to fight for what you think and what you believe in. You're more likely to just think, okay, I'm pretty solid about how I feel. I respect how you feel too. I don't feel threatened by you believing in something different. And that's that. If you have been struggling with restriction in your intimacy, it's those type of conversations that can crack things open to a whole new level and create space for more conversations, more understanding. If you're not trying to defend yourself and defend your belief systems, then there's room for curiosity and figuring out how someone else feels and maybe merging that with your own belief systems and creating something brand new that you believe in. Shortly after this eclipse, the moon is going to square Pluto in your 7th house, which means that it's a challenging emotional aspect when it comes to power struggles and control in your relationships. Ultimately, Pluto is here to completely transform your relationships. And so if there is emotional struggle at this time, it is about this partnership transformation and ultimately deeper bonding. So, Leo, I hope that you're having a wonderful time in your relationships and your connections right now, and that you're feeling super solid in your belief systems so that when you're in that really solid place, you can make room for more growth in that area of your life. I'll see you next time. Hi, Libra. This is a fated new beginning in partnerships for you. This is when somebody fated can come into your life and create a journey that is fated and karmic and destined to be. There's a chance that communication right now with other people is going to be a bit more challenging for you. And more, it's about revising how you think and how you communicate. So you could be going back over your words and figuring out ways to express yourself better and more clearly to those that you love. This could be business partnerships or romantic partnerships, really anything that is significant and contracted in your life. But this is the energy of Chiron. So this wound related to partnerships is either coming to an end or starting a brand new beginning, or both. There could be a completely different way that you are learning deep intimacy with another person. Merging resources is something that is going to be highlighted April 20th with Uranus and Jupiter, and in the most blessed, wonderful ways. So maybe somebody comes into your life that is of financial support to you that you weren't expecting. What a lovely surprise. Maybe this is ending a job for you or changing your day-to-day life, the routines that you have. Mars and Saturn there in your 6th house. This is the house of illness, so this could be an activation of illness for a small portion of you. But this really looks like somebody's coming into your life and everything changes. Your routines change, your daily habits. Maybe if this is a financial support of some kind, you don't need to work the way that you used to, and there's an abrupt change to your work routine because money's coming from somewhere else. You don't have to work so hard. This is the house of slavery, and so work and the day-to-day grind can sometimes feel like that. Whatever ending you just went through with the March 25th eclipse, and you can check the video below to link to my last video where I talk more in depth about your eclipse. But this is about other people now. So maybe something manifested for you as a person or ended, and now there's room for this karmic partnership. This partnership was likely contracted to come into your life to heal wounds around connecting with other people, to heal wounds with other people's assertiveness and how they initiate change within you. Back to the energy of April 20th with Uranus and Jupiter in your 8th house. This has to do with resources, but it also has to do with your deep, close, intimate bonds and psychological wounds. Psychological wounds could spontaneously shift, and maybe it's due to this partner coming into your life and creating a change that you're ready and waiting for. Other people have the ability to do that with us, and that is some of the blessings that can be found in relationships and partnerships. There's a merging of energy that has promise to evolve and transform our own energy. Shortly after this eclipse, the moon is going to square Pluto. And that's happening in your 8th and 5th house. So I really see transformation in creativity, maybe children being a piece of the story for you. This is all about merging with another person, Libra, and this is your specialty. You do it best. You are the sign of partnerships. And with this focus in the house of partnerships for you, there's going to be more balance created for sure. And it might not happen immediately, but that's the promise of this journey, that you are creating harmonious relationships in your life, and you're doing it in a way that does not sacrifice you. Whatever changes are going on, Libra, I hope that this eclipse season is treating you really well. Take lots of time where you can, because when it's your year for eclipses, that can mean big changes in ways that you don't usually experience, and that takes a lot out of us. So lots of love and lots of rest, and I'll see you next time. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. This eclipse is happening in the part of your chart that represents work, day-to-day activities, your routines, and how you manage your life, essentially. So something radical and transformative and fated is happening with work. This can be a new journey where a habit that is not serving you is being connected in your awareness to pain and your ability to transform that, and therefore that habit. Your partnerships are blessing you on April 20th. That is the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction where something radical and unexpected can show up. Maybe that has some emotional healing for you that transforms your habits, transforms your health. This can be a beginning of a karmic journey when it comes to your health, and whether you've been struggling with something or something shows up at this time, this is a fated change in that experience. And you're really going to be looking at where your wounds are with service. Do you have a compassionate service that you share with other people that is motivated by your own personal pain and helping other people transform a similar experience? There is some involvement when it comes to creative projects, fun, joy, your children. There's a chance that something is restricted or severed in that department. So maybe something with your children changes and your creative project or the way that you have fun is shifting. So if your habits are shifting, often that means that the way we derive pleasure is shifting. So those two things definitely go together with whatever is showing up at the time of this eclipse. In work partnerships, there could be radical transformation where people are coming in or coming out of that situation. And ultimately, this is for more creativity and more joy. So if something is being cut out in that department, then it's making room for a new evolved way of experiencing bliss, and expressing your God-given talents is in this part of your chart too. Scorpio, I hope your partnerships knock your socks off at this time in the best possible way. Whatever's going on with work and health and your daily routines, I hope that this potential for wound healing is manifested in all the best ways. Whatever is going on, let me know in the comments below, and may your creativity rebloom after this eclipse with even more of that self-expression and amazing creative process that only Scorpios can tap into. I'll see you next time. Hi, Sagittarius. Dating and creativity can be deeply healing and transformational right now. This solar eclipse is happening in your 5th house. So this is all about pleasure. How do you derive pleasure? How do you connect with other people in ways that bring pleasure? How do you express yourself in creative ways? How does that expression really convey to other people what you're all about? Are you being true to that childlike part of yourself? Speaking of children, if you have children, this could be more about your children at this time. But ultimately, they are our creative projects. So when I talk about creative projects, know that that could be part of the topics that come up. This really is about communication, though. How do you communicate when you are creatively manifesting? How do you communicate when you're dating? How do you put your creative energy into words and into some sort of material that other people can respond to? I say that because Mercury rules writing and technology and all of those forms of media. So you might be expressing yourself more in any of those forms. With Mercury retrograde, you could feel a little challenged and you're revising your words, your way of speaking. Perhaps you're not getting across very clearly at this time, and then that is an opportunity for merging more deeply in conversation and getting to the real depth and point of things. With Saturn and Mars in your fourth house, this is an energy about where you're restricting your inner world, where are you restricting that expression that you typically keep to yourself. Is there an opportunity here for severing that restriction and expressing more about what you don't usually show the rest of the world? This ultimately could have some really great health benefits for you. This could change your routines and how you operate on a day-to-day level. That's what's happening on April 20th with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in your sixth house, where work could radically change in a really good way. And maybe that changes your day-to-day experience, your routines, and your habits. But the focus here is all about pleasure. So when we transform what we find pleasurable, often our routines and our habits and those other things transform too. So it's happening all together here for you. And this is really about getting what's on that juicy inside of you out to the rest of the world. This is a really fun place to have an eclipse, Sag. So again, you're going to be having more fun than some of the other signs. And I hope that it does bring all of the best pleasure, dating opportunities, play. This is such a good time for play, Sag. And you're a sign who is generally all about that. Depends on your personal chart, of course, but every Sag out there is going to feel this burst of creative joy. And if you have any wounds around that type of expression, it could be reactivated at this time, but so that you can reach a whole new level of freedom of expression. And freedom to play, freedom to be creative. At some point in your life, if somebody has dampened this light inside of you, this is a time when it can be reborn. And it's going to start a whole new cycle when it comes to that. So have a wonderful time, Sagittarius. I hope these lovely work surprises and routine surprises and health surprises really bring all the best. And just remember to not hold back so much. If you're feeling this urge to hold back what's inside, really find ways to bring out what's appropriate and what feels right. And it's just going to bring you more pleasure in the end. And it's really going to benefit your creative projects if you're working on anything creatively. Have a wonderful time, Sag. I'll see you next time. Hi, Capricorn. This is a solar eclipse in your fourth house, which is all about home. This is where you grew up, who raised you. This energy can have to do with your mother. This is your place of origin. And it's everything that you keep deep inside of yourself. It is your inner world. If there are wounds living there, then this is a time where you could be focusing on healing some wounds that are from your family lineage. This has the potential to wake up some wounds from your childhood, from how you were raised. Could have to do with your actual home. And you're going to be reflecting on ways that you communicate, ways that you love. With Saturn and Mars in your third house, you could feel more restricted with your communication, or you're breaking through that. If you typically are somebody who's more reserved and restrained when it comes to your expression and your thoughts, then this is an opportunity to break through that and express more. Maybe you're just feeling more chatty, or maybe something actually at the time of this eclipse is shutting down your communication. If that's the case, where you're shutting down your communication, then I really see you going inward at the time of this eclipse and reflecting more on what's going on deep inside of you. And then you're going, when Mercury goes direct in May, you're going to have more power with your words. You're going to be able to express what's on the inside more easily. But first comes the reflection and introspection period. There could be some lovely surprises with your children or creative projects, or how you derive fun and pleasure and creativity what your passions are, how you express your God-given talents. These are all areas that could catch you off guard in some pleasant way around April 20th when Jupiter and Uranus come together. But this is really building at the time of this eclipse. So whatever is going on at home in your inner world could be tied to these surprises. Overall, Capricorn, if you're feeling like the cat's got your tongue, then know that this is an opportunity to reflect and revise and get really in touch with what matters to you on a heart level. Matters of family might need more time for reflection. And there's a small chance that a new wound could surface when it comes to your home and family life. This is an opportunity to focus on that wound, nurture it, and help other people that have similar suffering in life. I hope that ultimately it is all good things when it comes to these areas of your life, and with a beautiful surprise and healing happening in your fifth house. I have no doubt that creative energy or something with your children or just plain old pleasure is going to really benefit your internal world. Another piece, Capricorn, is that the same part of your chart that rules communication and your thought process and really expressing and getting across what's on your mind, it's the same part of your chart that rules siblings, close relatives, neighbors, community. So there could be some abrupt changes there too. Just want to mention that. Ultimately, this is on an energetic level about communication. Because eclipse season is so important in our material world, something could be transforming with that part of your life as well. Also, short distance travel is a part of that area too. So Capricorn, have a wonderful eclipse season, and whatever's happening with home and communication and neighbors and siblings and short distance travel and your children, there's just so much that could be happening in your life right now. And I hope that it is all good stuff. And whatever wounds you're moving through, just know that on a spiritual level, this has to do with healing and clearing those wounds. And I do believe that that's part of the challenges that we go through as humans, is that it's a waking up process to release energy we don't need to move forward with. I'll see you next time. Hi, Aquarius. This is a solar eclipse in your third house. So this is all about communication. How do you express to others? What do you think about? How do your thoughts get transformed and conveyed to other people? Whether this is writing projects, this can also cover short distance travel, siblings, neighbors, close relatives. If you have any wounds connected to siblings or close relatives, there's an opportunity here for activation and healing. You're going to really be focusing on communication though. With Mercury retrograde in this part of your chart, you actually might struggle a little bit more with getting words out. You might struggle a little bit more with expression overall, or you could be revising a writing project of some kind. Short distance travel is also part of this eclipse, so there might be something that happens that forces you to take a little short journey. And that short journey is, if that's the case, this is a fated experience, and it's part of this story of creating changes with your communication, ultimately. Unexpected surprises and blessings and healing in your fourth house. So April 20th, something unexpected can change in your inner world and with your home life. And that's about all I can say about that, because Uranus is expect the unexpected, so it's really hard to predict. But I do see that as being a positive experience amidst what can be very mixed at the time of this eclipse. Saturn and Mars are in your second house, and this is an energy of probably restricting your assets and self-worth with the opportunity to then expand and redo things, restructure in a much better way. So the focus is on money, and it is about your self-worth and how you manage both of those, how you manage your energy. You're either breaking through a restriction of energy in that part of your life. So if you feel like you restrict, maybe you restrict what you express because of self-worth. Maybe you don't feel like people actually want to hear what you have to say. And when it comes to self-worth, this is always matched with our actual assets and actual finances. So as you're transforming how you feel about yourself and maybe how you feel about expressing yourself, expressing your boundaries of how you spend your energy. So you could be breaking through some of that. If you've been reserved or you have areas of reservation when it comes to how you spend your energy, you might find that this, whatever happens at the time of this eclipse, is an opportunity to have more of it to give. When we're generous with our energy, it all comes back to us. That's a piece of trust to exercise when it comes to expending more of that inner resource of your own personal energy. It's unlimited. So the more you express, the more it comes back, the more you have to express. So keep that flowing, keep sharing your energy, and see how it comes back to you. I hope this communication journey is going really well for you, Aquarius, and I will see you next time. Hi, Pisces. Are you restricting your inner passion? This eclipse is in a part of your chart that rules self-worth and your assets and your overall worth. This could be a brand new beginning with money and energy and how you see yourself. Your confidence can shift. You could be aware of some of the original wounds that dampened your confidence. And if they're activated at this time, know that this is part of the breakthrough process. This is part of breaking through any limitations that you have around resources and knowing that there is this unlimited energy that can come from you outward to other people and be received as well. And that manifests into material assets in this world. So if you're feeling restricted in that part of your life, this is an opportunity for big changes, big fated changes. And maybe it has to do with relationships with you. Maybe relationships are part of the process where you're actually seeing how much value you have to give to others. I hope that's the case, Pisces. I hope that you're feeling the love that you give to everybody else. And I hope that this starts to propel more of it to be expressed from you and received as well. And I think that's part of this bigger journey that you're going with Saturn in your first house. With Mars there right now, any restriction that you have been putting on yourself as far as how others see you could be cracked open at this time. It could be that there's a part of yourself that you show other people that is being severed, and now you're presenting in a whole different way after this eclipse. There are unexpected blessings in your third house. So this has to do with siblings, neighbors, close relatives, short distance travel, communication, writing. How you express yourself could be radically transformed in unexpected ways on April 20th when this is exact. But this energy is very active at the time of this eclipse. So I do see it being all rolled into one. And ultimately, Pisces, this is a self-worth journey and money. You could be going over things from the past when it comes to your self-worth and your assets and how you manage them. That's what the Mercury retrograde is providing. It's a bit of a revision of maybe how you communicate your worth to others, because people only know what you show them. If you're not showing up in a way that other people can read that value, then they just don't. So keep that in mind, that you want to be showing people what you're all about, showing people what you actually are here to do in the world, what you have to provide. And I think you're going to be feeling a lot more respect. And I hope that this ultimately gives you more energy to connect with others and assert yourself in ways that benefit you and other people. I'll see you next time. Happy solar eclipse to you, Aries. This is your eclipse. This is a big fated change when it comes to who you are and how you show yourself. This is how other people perceive you when it's in your first house. This can have to do with your body, and this has to do with the skill sets that you have to operate in this life. You're going to be very focused on communication. If you're not feeling like you're communicating at your best or as easy as you typically can, because Aries, you can fire it out. But with retrograde happening right now, you might be revising more about yourself, how you communicate, how you express yourself, how you show the world who you really are. And the blessings are coming to you with assets and money. This is also your self-worth, so there could be some radical, unexpected shifts when it comes to your assets and self-worth. And with Mars and Saturn in your 12th house, this could be an energy of endings in some way. If you have a tendency for any habits that are self-destructive, then this could be severed right now. There could be something that happens with your body and your health that transforms how you retreat and escape, and not going into self-destructive patterns moving forward. There could be an ending of some overseas experience for a small portion of you. It's a hard one to read with Saturn and Mars in the 12th house, and it could be connected to a loss of some kind. When it comes to an eclipse in your first house, this is still a balancing act of self and other for you, even though this particular eclipse is more about yourself. With Chiron in the first house, you might be dealing with some wounds that have to do with your self-expression. And Aries, you are known for assertion, dominance, initiation. It can sometimes be in the more aggressive ways. And when that's the case, it's usually to make up for some sort of lack. It's usually feeling like you need to fight to get heard, to be seen. But there's something here that you are starting a brand new journey with, in that if you're healing wounds around yourself and how you're seen by other people, potentially wounds around your actual body, then you don't have to go into battle with other people. There's more of a quiet, self-assured energy that can come out that makes room for merging and separateness. And if somebody has an opinion that's different than yours and doesn't actually like your perspective, that doesn't mean that yours is threatened. Both can coexist, and that's going to be the goal here if there's a story like that showing up for you. Your self-worth is changing, and you no longer have to go to battle for your autonomy. It just is. Mars and Saturn in your 12th house can also be a dissolving of psychological trauma related to status and community. Again, you're less afraid of how you're perceived and can more easily express yourself and allow others to do the same. I hope that your eclipse season, Aries, is bringing you all the best. I hope that this transformation of yourself and your body and how you operate, how you spend your energy in the world, brings all the best things back to you, and have a wonderful time. Hi, Taurus. This is an eclipse in your 12th house. So this is a brand new beginning when it comes to how you retreat and how you escape from the world. This is also a new cycle that could have to do with any wounds that you carry around retreat and escape. This house also represents your connection to the spiritual realm. This could be a past life wound that is being activated. A past life wound that likely has to do with any self-destructive patterns or things that are really hidden. This is the part of our chart that rules our blind spot, the things that we don't see. So this activation has the potential to bring a wound to the surface that you had no idea was running in your subconscious and creating patterns in your life that are ready to go. They're ready to go because this eclipse is fated. This is a karmic journey that was predestined to activate something and transform something in your life. And you're the one going through radical transformation of self with Uranus in your first house. And at the time of this eclipse, and April 20th is when it's exact, there's going to be something that is unexpected that happens with yourself, with your body, how people perceive you. And Taurus, sometimes the energy that needs to happen for us to really look deep within ourselves can be jarring. But I see this as being an eye-opening experience where you're learning something new about yourself and your subconscious patterns that really propels your journey into a beautiful new place. Something to do with your community and friends and networks could come to an abrupt end. A network or audience or community that you've had for a long time could abruptly shift at this time. This could be an energy where one group of people is severed from your life, but you also have a past life connection coming in. That's another thing that is ruled by the 12th house where this eclipse is occurring is past life connections. So somebody that you have gone through many life journeys with could surface and come into your life now and be part of this radical transformation of self that you're going through. Let me know in the comments below, Taurus, how this is playing out and your journey of radical transformation is really on its last leg, and this eclipse of subconscious awareness or people coming back from your past is a big piece of the story that is about to unfold. Enjoy. I'll see you next time. Hi, Gemini. This eclipse is happening in your 11th house. So this could be fated new beginnings with a circle of friends, community, networks, audience. These are the people who are here to support you in your life. You might have some karmic wounds around community and networks that show up. Your communication with your audience and networks could be going through some transformation due to healing these wounds. Something about your status could abruptly change around this time. With Saturn and Mars in your 10th house, how you've been seen by other people and your career and reputation could go through some drastic changes. Maybe you're dealing with confrontation on your leadership skills, and that ultimately creates a new audience and new networks and a brand new way of operating when it comes to business and who your clients are. There could be unexpected blessings when it comes to your subconscious, your connection to the psychic realm, and your connection to the unseen realm and psychic activity. So you've been on this journey for a little while. I think Geminis are waking up to a lot of psychic activity. And with Mercury retrograde, you might be picking up on more of those energetic nuances in your community and the people around you. Maybe it's those energetic nuances that are creating friction in your leadership. Maybe it's not necessarily what people are saying, though it could be. But it could be what they're giving off energetically that you're starting to pick up on and change how you lead. And you're leading with more assertiveness. You're leading with how you can add more structure to how you're being seen. This is an opportunity to be more structured where you're typically very scattered in your public image. And it could be people in your networks and community and audience that point this out to you in some way. Keep in mind that Pluto is on this big mission right now to transform the way you view the world and your perspectives. So that's always going to be a piece of these other transits that happen. This is that Pluto journey in your perspectives is a 20-year transit. and it is overarching a lot of the other experiences that are unfolding. So keep that in mind with whatever happens at the time of this eclipse. As a Gemini, you're really good at this, but this is an opportunity to always keep in check, okay, where is my perspective at, and where is the perspective of others at, and how are we going to merge at this time and make the best of whatever situation is coming up. Having an eclipse in the 11th house is a beautiful place for an eclipse. The 11th house is seen as one of the more positive placements in the zodiac. It can have a flavor of a long-held wish coming true as well. So I hope that's the case for you, Gemini. Whatever transformation you're going through with your networks and your communication and how you're seen in the world, keep in mind that a wound activated right now it's really an opportunity for transforming that and using it to help other people, especially with you, because it's in your 11th house, and that's all about who's watching you, who's supporting you. And you could be using that as a leader right now, talking about your own, and you don't even have to mention it specifically, but you might be using your own wounds to propel and inspire you to be the leader that you want to be, and to help guide others in the way that's going to support them along the journey too, and in ways that you can relate to when it comes to any wounds that Chiron is activating here. Have a wonderful eclipse season, Gemini, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Virgo. This solar eclipse is happening in your 8th house. So this is a brand new beginning with other people's resources. It can involve psychological healing. It can be sudden reversals. This is the house of death and birth and rebirth. It is also the house of deep intimacy. With Chiron here, any wounds that you have around deep intimacy and deep bonds with another person can have an opportunity for big healing. This can be a brand new chapter in your life when it comes to how you relate to other people. Mars and Saturn are in your 7th house, so this gives me the impression that some of the restriction you have had around your partnerships could burst. This could be severed, and you'll be reaching a new layer with less restriction. And Jupiter and Uranus, this big conjunction happening shortly after the eclipse, is happening in your 9th house. And this has the opportunity to bring an unexpected teacher into your life, a guru, somebody you can look up to and guide you towards the next steps that you're trying to go in. This could be a healer of some kind, or that you just have a complete shift of your spiritual perspective in some way. And perhaps it's this shift of spiritual perspective that is helping you heal any old psychological trauma. And this helps improve your bonds and improve intimacy. It allows you to break open some layers that have been holding you back from really opening up to another person. With Mercury retrograde in this same part of your chart, you could be reworking how you communicate intimacy and how that nurtures deeper bonds within your life. Venus is here to support too. So even though some of the eclipse energy can be intense and Mercury is retrograde, so even though you're working on your communication, you might feel a bit challenged in that department. But it's breaking through these challenges that helps you achieve what you want when it comes to deeper bonds and intimacy. Venus is a huge support here, and this house can also represent money. Resources from your partner and resources from other people could bring unexpected blessings, healing, and create some transformational energy in your life. So lots of good opportunity here for you, Virgo. I hope that this new moon brings all of the abundance and support that you need to deepen your bonds, make your world a bit richer when it comes to intimacy, have that healing capacity to shift old trauma and subconscious patterns that are holding you back in partnerships and relationships. You're doing some big restructuring there, and I think this eclipse is really going to support that process for you. And I hope whatever unexpected blessings come with your spiritual realizations, your view of the world, and potentially a new teacher, it brings even more support. It looks like you have a lot of support during the time of this eclipse, and it's from other people that you're really reaching a whole new level. Have a wonderful eclipse journey, Virgo, and I'll see you next time.